For an entire decade, Wizards of the Coast released an annual collector's box set of specially treated Magic the Gathering cards, and despite the high annual demand from players and collectors alike, the project was discontinued after just 10 releases. In this video, we'll take a look at each of the releases in Magic the Gathering's From the Vault series, and explore what worked, what didn't, and why Wizards ultimately gave the product line the X. So what is the From the Vault series? Well, each one released in the limited run once per year annual series is a special box set of 15 tournament legal black bordered cards that are based around a specific theme. Each of the cards featured a special foiling process that was unique to the product that resulted in a shinier card that gave them a nearly holographic appearance. Each box set would also come with a special 20-sided spin-down life counter that featured the set's release symbol in place of the 20.
This product was the brainchild of a man named Mark Purvis. He is currently a Magic Architect, I believe is his name. In the past, he's been a brand manager. Mark is a longtime Magic fan who got hired on the business side of Magic. And Mark is a collector. He's always been a collector. He loves collecting things. He loves collecting Magic cards. And so he came up with this idea for a product that was just for people who loved collecting. And I think From the Vault was his name. I think he called it From the Vault. And so Mark's vision was that every year we'd make one of these and it would just have a different theme, and that the themes would jump around, and that not every set was necessary for every style of player, but that they would just show off the breadth of kinds of things that you could collect.
From the Vault's debut release came out on August 29, 2008. From the Vault Dragons. Why dragons? Because market research doesn't lie.
Players really like dragons, and so we said, okay, we want to start big and bold. We know players like dragons. It's a very Timmy-Tammy kind of card. We'll start with dragons.
Included, along with the product-specific spin-down die, was an insert with rules for Elder Dragon Highlander, or EDH, a format that's now better known today as Commander, as well as 15 dragons and dragon-related cards. Bladewing the Risen, Bogardan Hellkite, Draco, Dragonstorm, Ebon Dragon, Hellkite Overlord, Kokusho the Evening Star, Niv Mizzet the Firemind, and Two-Headed Dragon. Along with the cards featuring new artwork debuting in the product, Dragonwhelp, Form of the Dragon, Nicol Bolas, Rith the Awakener, Shivan Dragon, and Thunder Dragon. While the product was popular from the get-go, Wizards of the Coast received feedback about it that would influence how they would go about selecting cards for From the Vault releases going forward.
People liked From the Dragons, but one of the feedbacks we got was there were not as many solo cards that were kind of exciting in a vacuum. Players liked it, and there are definitely players that collected it, and it sold out, but it wasn't as exciting as we thought.
That feedback was taken into consideration for the next release in the series, From the Vault Exiled, which came out August 28, 2009. The theme this time around was cards that were banned or restricted at some point in Magic the Gathering history.
The thing I liked about that was, one, it got to show off a little bit of history. Two, it leaned a little more towards Spike, because obviously if cards are banned or restricted, most of them are good. Not all of them were necessarily amazing, but we did have some fun with cards that got banned, but in modern day, like, really? Why? Did those need to be banned?
To that end, From the Vault Exiled contained a number of noteworthy cards. Gifts Ungiven, Curd Ape, Lotus Petal, Mystical Tutor, Sensei's Divining Top, Skull Clamp, and Trinisphere, along with 8 others that came in with brand new card art. Balance, Berserk, Channel, Goblin Lackey, Necropotence, Serendib Ifrit, Strip Mine, and Tinker. It turns out that upping the quality of the individual cards was well received among Magic players.
We found that putting in a little bit more exciting cards that individually, like, dragons were exciting in the loose sense that people like dragons, but these were like really powerful cards that people wanted to have access to, and have, special, holofoil, have special nice treatments of them. Like I said, some of them with brand new art. So this one definitely did a little bit better and really sort of demonstrated an important thing to us as hey, one of the things that really makes From the Vault kind of sizzle is just having really exciting cards. And that the theme should be exciting, but there just had to be individual cards that really people wanted. And that really sort of redefined a little bit how we wanted to think of making From the Vaults.
After Exiled came From the Vault Relics. Released on August 27, 2010, the theme this time around was Artifacts. Interestingly enough, Relics included 4 cards that exist on Magic's reserved list, which is a list of cards that Wizards of the Coast publicly vowed never to reprint. But they were able to do so as, at the time, there was a loophole that allowed them to reprint cards as foils rather than non-foils.
And so we made it here. We also did that same thing in a dual deck, I think. And anyway, the response was negative. We ended up rewriting the rules and saying, okay, we will not put foil versions of reserve list cards in new products. And one of them, Mox Diamond, is not only and Mastercard, 2 of them are both reserve list and brand new art, which is something that's very hard to do on cards that you're never supposed to print again. So a rarity here.
The cards included in this one are Jester's Cap, Karn, Silver Golem, Mirari, Memory Jar, Sundering Titan, and Sword of Body and Mind, along with the following cards receiving new artwork: Ether Vial, Black Vice, Isochron Scepter, Ivory Tower, Masticore, Mox Diamond, Nevinyrral's Disc, Soul Ring, and Zuran Orb. From the Vault Legends was the release for 2011 and came out on August 26 of that year. As the name implies, the theme for this one was legendary creatures. At this point in Magic, Commander had become noticeably popular, and Wizards wanted to lean into that.
A lot of the ones we chose were ones we knew were popular in this newish Commander form. I mean, at this point it was a few years old, but it was newer as compared to now.
Included in Legends are Cow, Lord of Way, Captain Sisay, Doran, the Siege Tower, Bicayus, the Lunarch, Omnath, Locus of Mana, Una, Queen of the Fae, Sun Quan, Lord of Wu, and Ulamog, the Infinite Gyre, along with 7 more cards featuring new artwork: Kiki Jiki, Mirror Breaker, Kresh, the Blood Braided, Progenitus, Rafik of the Many, Sharum, the Hedgemon, Teferi, Mage of Zalfir, and Visara, the Dreadful. And in designing this From the Vault product, Wizards of the Coast realized they had created an outlet for them to reprint cards from obscure sources that would otherwise be difficult to reprint.
Portal 3 Kingdoms was a product we made, mostly only came out in the Asian market, a little bit in Australia. There wasn't much outside of that market, so it is not something, for example, that a lot of the markets in the world were able to get. And so those cards are very hard to get. So one of the things we use for products like this is sometimes get cards that were harder to get because of where they came from originally.
August 31st, 2012 would see the next entry into the series, From the Vault Realms. The theme this time around is non-basic lands from across the collectible card game's history. Ancient Tomb, Useju, Who Shelters All, Desert, High Market, Murmuring Bosk, Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth, Vesuva, and Windbrisk Heights, along with 7 more cards featuring new art: Cephalid Colosseum, Dryad Arbor, Forbidden Orchard, Glacial Chasm, Maze of Ith, and Shivan Gorge. Hindsight being 2020, as they say, there was an issue with one of the cards thanks to the confusion it can cause when in play.
This set had Dryad Arbor that had brand new art, and it didn't do a really good job of making it clear it wasn't just a basic land card. Everything about the card, the way the card was done was it just literally had a green mana symbol on it like a basic land would. Now it said land, creature, forest, dryad if you looked at the card, but even in the art the dryad is there, but she looks like a tree. And if you look closely, you can see she's there. But if you're not really paying attention, it just looks a lot like a basic land. And if you're not really paying attention, it's very hard to tell that this land is also a creature. And so people, and they shouldn't be doing this, it's unsportsmanlike conduct, but we're playing the land so where people wouldn't notice where it was because they were playing with their land, and then when it mattered, they'd surprise them with the creature. And anyway, this card I think was problematic in that way, that Dryad Arbor already has some issues with it. We shouldn't make it so easy to disguise as a fourth. That was considered a problem.
After Realms came a From the Vault release that celebrated the 20th anniversary of Magic the Gathering's debut back in August of 1993 in the aptly named From the Vault 20. As such, it contained 20 cards rather than the usual 15, with each card being a key part of a premier tournament-winning deck from the CCG's competitive history. Those cards are Chameleon Colossus, Char, Dark Ritual, Fact or Fiction, Green Sun's Zenith, Ink Eyes, Servant of Oni, Jace, the Mind Sculptor, Kessig Wolf Run, Swords to Plowshares, Thran Dynamo, and Wall of Blossoms, with the rest having new artwork. Akroma's Vengeance, Chainer's Edict, Cruel Ultimatum, Finhorn Elves, Gilded Lotus, Hymn to Torok, Impulse, Tanglewire, and Venser, Shaper Savants.
We really did not make a big deal of the 20th anniversary. We downplayed, I don't know why. I wanted to make a big deal, but I was outvoted. We really did not make a big deal of it. I think at the time they're worried like it ages us or something. I don't know. I think it's cool that we're 20 years old or 25 years old or soon be 30 years old. Like, I think that's a great thing. I think our history is a plus. But anyway, at the time, I don't know. This was, I believe, the only product that really acknowledges our 20th anniversary.
Magic the Gathering's 21st year would see From the Vault Annihilation, released on August 22nd, 2014. The theme this time around was Board Sweepers, and it went back to the usual 15 cards. 6 of the cards featured new artwork. Those 15 cards include Burning of Xingzie, Child of Alara, Decree of Annihilation, Fracturing Gust, Martial Coup, Rolling Earthquake, Terminus, Upheaval, and Virtue's Ruin, with the new artwork cards consisting of Armageddon, Cataclysm, Firespout, Living Death, Smokestack, and Wrath of God. From Wizards of the Coast's perspective, From the Vault Annihilation was proof that they were starting to run out of theme ideas for a specialized product that was beginning to become, well, redundant.
One of the challenges of this product is, as we started making more other products that did more bringing back, returning, reprinted stuff. Like when From the Vault started, there wasn't a lot of sets doing a lot of reprints. There were some, but not a lot. And as time went on, more and more sets were doing that. And that is a limited resource. There's only so much for us to reprint. And we try really hard to keep things off one another when we can. And so it became trickier and trickier to make the From the Vaults work. And so From the Vault Annihilation is a good example where we were kind of stretching, and it started to show a little bit of the wear and tear of the concept, of From the Vault concept.
So Wizards went back to their From the Vault roots and released another creature-type focused product with From the Vault Angels, which came out August 21st, 2015. It was a theme that had been suggested as a possibility from day one. The cards included this time around are Archangel of Strife, Aurelia, the War Leader, Avacyn, Angel of Hope, Baneslayer Angel, Entreat the Angels, Janara, Asura of War, Lightning Angel, Platinum Angel, Sarah Angel, and Tariel, Reckoner of Souls. 5 additional cards in the release featured new artwork. Akroma, Angel of Fury, Akroma, Angel of Wrath, Exalted Angel, Iona, Shield of Amira, and Iridescent Angel. In filling out the roster, Wizards didn't just look to include iconic angel creatures from Magic history, but also ones that players would likely be using in Commander. Also, since Magic had recently changed card frames, they made sure that the angels reflected this change as well.
We had changed over in this core set to the new frames, and this was the first set that had the what we call the Core 2015 frames, which I guess had come out the year before, but before this product maybe. Anyway, so this was the first one to use the frame that has the black part of the bottom of that frame.
After Angels came From the Vault Lore. Released on August 19, 2016, the product included cards that were well known for their place in the Magic storyline. It contains 16 cards if you want to include the 2020 Marital Age Creature Token card. As for the rest of the cards in lore, it includes Beseech the Queen, Conflux, Dark Depths, Glissa the Traitor, Hellvault, Memnarch, Near-Death Experience, Obliterate, Phyrexian Processor, Talaria West, Umezawa's Jite, and Unmask. Only 3 cards had new art this time around: Cabal Ritual, Mind's Desire, and Mormor-Vig, Simic Visionary. Like with Annihilation 2 years prior, Wizards of the Coast had difficulty designing lore, due mostly to the number of additional outlets it now had for reprinting cards.
Basically what's going on is we're making more and more products that are making use of the resource of returning cards, and it's just becoming trickier and trickier to A, not do a thing we've done before in From the Vault, and not step on the toe. Like, you need to get 15 cards, and when other sets around you are using some cards, so sometimes you'd have a theme, but I can't use something from that theme because it's being printed there. It became very hard to do, and it was definitely becoming challenging.
That challenge would soon come to an end as Wizards of the Coast released the final entry into the now 10-year-old product line as, on November 24, 2017, From the Vault Transform hit retailers. The set contained 13 double-face cards with the Transform mechanic, including all 5 of the transforming Planeswalker cards found in 2015's Magic Origins, along with 2 other cards that featured the card-flipping Meld mechanic.
The idea is these are all double-face cards. The reason is we were running into trouble finding themes that other sets weren't printing, but it turns out it's very hard to do double-face cards in a set not focused on double-face cards, so we tended not to reprint double-face cards. So we saw an opportunity.
That opportunity yielded a From the Vault release that included the cards Archangel of Avacyn / Avacyn the Purifier, Argwell's Bloodfast / Temple of Algazatz, Arlen Cord / Arlen Embraced by the Moon, Bloodline Keeper / Lord of Lineage, Chandra Fire of Kaladesh / Chandra Roaring Flame, Elbrus the Binding Blade / Withingar Unbound, Jace Vryn's Prodigy / Jace Telepath Unbound, Kythian Hero of Akros / Gideon Battleforged, Liliana Heretical Healer / Liliana Defiant Necromancer, Nissa Vastwood Seer / Nissa Sage Animist, as well as the milled cards Bruna the Fading Light and Gisela the Broken Blade, which together become Briselia, Voice of Nightmares. As for the 3 cards with new art, those are Delver of Secrets / Insectile Aberration, Garruk Relentless / Garruk the Veil Cursed, and Huntmaster of the Fells / Ravager of the Fells. The feeling from Wizards is that Transform was a nice way to finish out the product line.
Yeah, this was just a cool idea, and in some ways it was a nice grand finish for the From the Vaults.
And with that, Match of the Gatherings From the Vault series was, well, sent to the vaults. Despite of how well the set performed for Wizards as well as players, things were far from perfect with it, especially from the players' and collectors' point of view. First things first, let's highlight that special foiling process that gave From the Vault cards their signature look. While stylish and appealing to the eye, the process left players with a card that was stiffer and heavier than normal Magic cards, foil or otherwise. Players also found the card fronts to feel slightly sticky, and those who wanted the cards autographed found them to be difficult to write on. Then there's the issue of curling, something that affects normal foil Magic cards as well, though for From the Vault foils, the curling was more common and more dramatic than most non-From the Vault foiling processes. This would make the cards difficult to play in tournaments and ultimately unpopular for collectors of single From the Vault cards. From the Vault Transform, the final release in the product line, had its own issue beyond problems associated with the foiling process. Many of the cards were either miscut or misprinted, to the point that the cards appeared askew and off-center, which raised questions about quality control for the product. But the main issue for the series was simple supply and demand. As a limited run product, print runs were low, and distribution to local game stores were limited. And between the fancy card treatment and the popular and powerful cards that were typically included in each release, demand for the product far outpaced availability. Due to this, Retailers often price the product far above the $34.95 and $39.95 MSRPs, with some retailers reportedly selling the product for double that price or more. As for From the Vault prices today, roughly 9 years after the line's final release, they run the gamut from right around original MSRP, like with From the Vault Annihilation, to more than $1,000 for From the Vault Relics. By the way, Wizards of the Coast did announce one other entry for From the Vault, said to contain 15 cards that were either Vaults or Vault related, such cards like Bottomless Vault, Lindell's Vault, Time Vault, and so on. From the Vault Vaults was announced with a release date of April 1st, 2009. That's right, April Fool's Day. You do the math. So what are your thoughts on Magic's From the Vault series? Is it something you'd like to see return? Do you have a favorite From the Vault release or a single card? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section. Thank you very much for watching, and please, if you want to support this video and this channel, click on that like and subscribe buttons, and have a great day.